It's cool. That's a full extension, so it's all the way up. Excellent. Alrighty, I'm getting ready to remove the rear wheel. And just as a side note, never use the chrome. If you're using an impact wrench, do not use the chrome sockets. You have to use one that is intended for impact wrenches, just in case. next I'm gonna bring you guys closer so we can see what we're gonna be doing back here. It's I want to detail all of that area. So hang tight. Alrighty. So as you can see, we still have a lot of the what do I call this stuff? Can't think right now. Yeah. All this stuff is just dirty and old and tired. So, undercoating. Gosh. Can't think very well today, I guess. So the plan is to scrape off as much as I can of this old stuff, clean it up to the best of my ability, and then just like I did, gosh, almost 2 years ago, on the other side, I'm going to, you know, make it look better. You can see the nut for the trailing arm. Everything is just caked with the undercoating, and I mean, it's good. It protects everything, but it doesn't look that great. And under here, of course, there's this little access plate for the one of the body mounts. So I'm gonna take that off like I did a couple of years back for the other side, and I'm gonna detail it just because I guess I'm OCD when it comes to stuff like that. Just everything else looks okay down here. And of course, one of these years I'm gonna remove the half shafts, and I would like to detail them. And this is the well for the storage for the jack, glove box, and the battery on the other side. It's just a bump stop here. And I'm thinking about replacing the shocks one of these days. I think it's just too soft in the rear for the suspension, so I'm gonna address that eventually. Okay, so that's it for now. Next is gonna be, again, I'm gonna set up a tarp here to keep the mess somewhat under control. And I'm going to start scraping and scrubbing all of this. Not fun, but it is necessary. That's just for the parking brake. Everything looks pretty decent still. All right, picking a few. All right, I'm gonna give this a shot. I don't know how much I can film of this process because one, is boring, and second, you're probably going to be seeing the back of my head or hands blocking the shot. I just wanted to point out that you're going to need some good wire brushes and a little selection of cutting knives and whatnot. To remove this little door here, I believe, I'm gonna try anyway, an 8mm. See if that works. It's probably standard, but I should be close to my guess here and see if, yeah, at least you can get them started. Yeah. And of course there's 4 of these. And needless to say, they're covered with the undercoating. That's a little bit of a pain. I think I cleaned the ones from the other side that could be replaced, and maybe I should have. Sometimes you have to pick your battles, as they say. Okay, so this one is, I don't know what the heck is wrong with this one here. I can't seem to get a hold of it. And of course it's hard to see. There we go. I think. I'll be damned, that's looks like a Phillips head. I got a screwdriver. Yeah, someone replace this one with, yeah, the wrong thing here, so no big deal. Whoops. No, these are just dirty. Good. Let me try to bring you in closer. So there's the one of the body mounts, and the wires you see, those are for the inside light, the door ajar warning light. So that's it. Everything looks good in there, so that's excellent. And next I'm gonna get started with the scraping process. And again, the light in here may not be as good as I would like it to be, but I just want to show you a little bit of the process. I'm sure you get it. And you certainly want gloves, probably better than these, and eye protection. That is a must-have because stuff is going to be flying everywhere here, just like that. Well, this one is missing the, well, actually it's still here. There's a little, what do I call these little threaded bolts here, like a U-bolt, whatever. It's just what happened is, it just got pushed to the side, so they chose to use the wrong screw just so they could have something there, I suppose. Oh well, not uncommon. All right. Hate this work, but again, it's necessary. So anyway, let me pause this because this is probably like watching paint dry. It's not fun, and I'll just be back in a few when I've made some progress. Hey guys, I wanted to bring you in here and show you some of the stuff that accumulates over the years. And while you're here, might as well get rid of all that gunk, because first, it's not supposed to be there. And second, when the time comes that you want to actually get in here and do some repairs or replace parts, you want this area to be clean. And of course, you know, this is part of the frame. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean it to the best of my ability. And I'm gonna spray it. I'm not gonna use the undercoating for that. I'm just gonna make it look, you know, like new. Pie in the sky maybe, but why not? Gotta dream about this stuff, right? We have to. So anyway, look at this. This is just like so much stuff accumulated. Man. See this big pin here. That is supposed to be there, of course. But this is the nut and the cotter pin that has to come off if you want to remove the trailing arm. And of course there's shims in here. I don't think I can show you this. Let me get my flashlight. And if you ever take those off, you want to make sure, sorry, I'm still working with a tripod here. And of course it's really hard to film. Yeah, I can't get in there with just with the tripod and the camera, so sorry about that. But anyway, if you ever remove the trailing arm, you want to make sure that you note how many shims are in each side of the trailing arm. In other words, you want to put it back together the way it was. So anyways, just want to show you guys this little part of the process and how much stuff accumulates in here over the decades. Yeah, there's dirt coming out of every freaking hole here, so would love to separate the body from the frame sometime, but not today. Alrighty, so I sanded some of it. I scraped as much as I could of the original undercoating, and you know, it doesn't have to be perfect because at the end of the day this is going to be covered with fresh undercoating. So, but what you do not want is stuff flaking off and dust and dirty and whatnot. So this is good for my needs here. I spent a little more time kind of detailing the frame, and that is looking really good and ready for some paint, which I'm going to do first. And here are the rear body mounts. They look a little cruddy, but they're still pliable. And I don't know if I can do this one-handed. I'm holding this light here too. So these are just kind of coated with some of the undercoating, but other than that, they're still somewhat pliable, and I don't really hear any noise or anything that would, you know, make me start rushing to replace them at this point. It's a good idea to pick your battles and not overdo it or do too much of stuff that can wait. And I guess at the end of the day, if you really needed to, you could always replace one at a time. Oh, and I also cleaned the cover plate for the access point to the body mount back there. And I suppose these are steel, so I guess they could be, if you have the time and equipment and the patience, you could always polish them. And I'm gonna paint mine, and I'm gonna replace the U-bolts here, and that'll look nice. All right, so on to the next step. Oh, and I cleaned back here as well as much as I could. And again, I just wanted to remove all the stuff that was flaking off and real crusty and whatnot, because I'm gonna coat at least twice with the fresh, what's that called? Rhino something, I think it is. I don't remember. But it's gonna be fresh undercoating. Alrighty, back in a bit. I forgot to mention that this is part of the aftermath after removing some of the dirt and whatnot that accumulates under there. So that's why it's a great idea to use a tarp to protect this, your floor, and make cleanup a lot easier. Next, I'm gonna start covering some of these components with plastic bags, whatnot, and get it ready for spray some paint. Alrighty. A little cleaning, and I like to use these shopping bags to cover some of the stuff, and they seem to work really, really well. Guess you can spend more time protecting all of this, but I don't want to waste a lot of time doing that. I already have about 2 hours invested into this project, and I would like to be done in the next day or so. So again, next I'm going to paint the this portion of the frame rail, and maybe spray a little bit in there too. Probably the shock absorber is gonna get painted, but it really doesn't matter. Alrighty, so that's the next step. Right, so I give it a couple of coats of black paint, and I guess it'll be okay for now. I'm not 100% happy with it. I don't know if I want to really coat it with the undercoating material, so I'll see how it. When it's fully dry, we'll see how it looks. And by the way, this is the stuff that I'm going to be using. It's Rust-Oleum truck bed coating. And this stuff, what you really want to do is all the stuff settles down the bottom, so you really have to stir this well before you start brushing it on. So take your time, make sure that it's blended nicely, and then you can go to town, but keep the stir around because you want to keep all these little things, whatever they are in there, really mix well with the product. So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to start undercoating. Alrighty. Small change plans here. I ended up coating the frame rail, as you can see. I don't like how it looked with the just that splotchy paint. So got it all done. I think I put on like 3 coats, which it's always good. You can't have too much of the stuff on it. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I still need to finish the little cover, and almost ready to put it back together, and so that's good. All right, hang tight. More to come. All right, so looking through my stash, I have one of these U-clip or fast nuts, whatever you want to call them, And I also happened to find some of these OEM style sheet metal screws. So I'm gonna pick 4 of these in order to replace the ones that came with the car. So all of this is just garbage now. And that's why it's a good idea whenever you go to a U-Puller to try to take the time and pick as many of these type of screws and hardware as you can, because they always come in handy. These are not the greatest, but they'll do. And I may salvage some of these because these are the original ones and they tend to be better. So I may just clean these up. There's nothing wrong with them. And so yeah, I may forego those. There's no reason not to reuse them. But anyway, still making good progress, and it's looking really sharp. And I'm also giving this cover here a few coats of primer. So that's almost ready to be painted, and then reinstalled back in the car. And actually not too shabby. I guess I have about, what, 4 hours tops all together here. And I'm actually digging how this looks. I looked at the other side, and it's, of course, I left it kind of shiny, but it doesn't matter. It's all good. Actually, one of these days I may go redo the other side, and then all I need to do at this point is really remove the wheel and give it another coat of the Rust-Oleum undercoating, and then I'll probably just go ahead and coat that as well. This is looking really good too. So, and that's the little door that I was mentioning. So cool, making progress. So I hope to be done tonight. Well, guess what? I am done. It's been really nice, which is great, because it is a lot of work, really dirty, but looks good. So throw the wheel back on, and then I'll get it off of the lift. she is. Well, thank you for watching.